a heavily requested topic, and it's mixing major and minor pentatonic together. Now, I don't know if some of you are new at this. The scale for major or minor, right, the pentatonic scale, is exactly the same shapes, right? So this is A minor, for instance. Right? A major is exactly the same box. You know, you're just in a different spot. Sorry, I'm so used to throwing this two together. But anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to layer those two on top of each other, and it just gives you a lot of interesting options, right? It takes it from just being able to go right? It gives you all these different, ways you can explore and make music, which is the whole point, right? So if I took position 1, and I like to think of it working the minor pentatonic, right? Even if I'm in A major, I still play out of the minor pentatonic boxes, and I just throw the major on top of it. So a couple quick principles. If you can find out, right? So say we're playing an A major. If you can find a couple variations of an A chord, like right here, for instance, everyone knows that one. And then we have this right here, right? That's right in that position 1 of minor pentatonic. And then there's an A down here. If you can memorize those 3 types of shapes for the chords, you will be so far ahead of the game because you'll start to see the chords within these actual boxes, right? So, for instance, if I'm in A major and I'm working out of that A minor pentatonic, I know that note that makes all the difference between major and minor is right here, and that's the major third, right? Now, if you notice, if I went, right? So that was just sliding from 5 to 7 on the D string and going straight down 5 to 7 on the G, 5 to 8, and then a bend up on the B string, right? That's a minor. If I took the exact same thing and just changed one note and put the major third in there, now it's going to sound totally different. Right? Versus. That really can draw the ear back to major pentatonic or just a major sound in general. Now, one other thing you can realize is if we're playing in A minor, right? I work from minor and throw major into it. The positions are just off one position. So here's position 1, for instance. What overlaps position 1 is position 2 of A major. So we got that's minor, position 1. Position 2 is right in there as well. And the notes that you would use most are right here. Right? So those two fit like that. So position 1 here, position 2 of major. You move up, position 2 minor, it's position 3 major right over the top in that same little area. So what we can do is we can start finding out how many different notes we actually have in one spot. So if I did that, I have, right? So that's 8, 7, 5 on the first 2 strings. We can throw the blues note in there, and then we can literally use all 4 right there, right? Just a chromatic run. We can do this. So now that we've combined both of those scales and thrown the blues note in there, I mean, literally, you can almost hit any note. It's just the ones that you land on that are super important to pull the ear to whether it's major or minor. So, again, right? That's major sounding. We can also go more right in, start, let's say, in position 2 of major. And kind of back in to minor. So what I did there was I slid in from 4 to 6. And then went 5 to 7 on the B, 5 to 7 on the E, so we can go. I bend up a whole step and come down to the A note again, right? That's where we're centered in. So we got. can pull it back into minor, and we'll do a typical minor sounding run. We're going to go 5 and 5 on the E and B. So we went, and then I go up to 8 on the B. And then I like to do runs like this, where you pull off. So I'm pulling off here, 8 to 5, and then I go 7 on the G, G, and then back to the B. So we got, and now I'm going to go up to the G string again and pull off. And now I'm going to do what I call stacking, and that's when I use the two notes right on top of each other. So that's 7D, 7G, 7D. Right, and then I'm going to bend up with my first finger, which is another great thing to start to get in the habit of, is being able to bend with each finger, because it really opens up a lot of different possibilities when you're bending. You can do it first and second finger. Your first finger isn't strong enough to do it. But then you start getting riffs like... Right, and it's right out of that first position of A minor, but we're just starting to throw all the notes on top of it. Now, one more thing I want you to think about is if you learn a riff right here, think about octaves, right? Where is that octave? So if I'm playing, which is the exact same notes up higher or lower, are going to be right here. Or, right? So I can do this riff. All right, so let's talk about octaves. So if I got this riff right here, if I put that in two different registers, now it starts to sound like different riffs, right? But we're using the same notes, just in different registers, right? So we can do that same riff up here on 8 and 10. Or, so what we could do is we could chain all those together. We've done the same basic riff over, different positions, right? We've worked different positions. We've done position 5 of minor, 1 and 2 of minor, right? But we've only used one little group of notes in different octaves. And that's where a lot of the... comes in. That's all the exact same riff. So I went... Right? So that's 10, 11. And then I go down to 8. And then I went 10, 10, 10 right here. Right? And then you can slide into the riff however you'd like, but I'm just using that minor box. Right now it sounds like we've done all these different riffs. Now, that's more of a minor sounding with the blues note in there. We can make that sound, pull the ear back to major by adding the major third in there. And now it's starting to pull, it's like, oh, now it's kind of rock and roll sounding. It's not like majory or country sounding, and it's not minor or bluesy sounding. It's starting to be a little bit more rock, to where you're mixing the two together, and all because of this major third. Again, the octaves, right? So it's nice to throw it in there right before you transition to a new riff, so it just quickly, just for a second, it gives you the hint of major in there. And what I did is I just hammered from 8 to 9, and then I did the same thing here. right? So now you're starting to do all these different runs, again, working out of A minor boxes and applying the A major on top of that. And you get... So what I did there is I did a half bend on 7 of the B, and then I grabbed 7 of the E, so we got... And then with this finger, my pinky, I grabbed 7, and then with my first finger, I grabbed 5 on the E, so we went... And then I release it. And then you can go straight into a bend, right? Or you can go... Right, we're going to grab that major third. It's a big stretch, but they're really cool riffs. And then back into that major sound again by hitting the third again right here. So what I did was I pulled off from 9 to 5 and then just went right back into the minor pentatonic. Right, you can come down like that. And all I'm doing is, again, targeting that major third. And working it in. Now you can start strictly in major. And then come into minor. So what I did there is your typical A major. Again, when you're doing this, you're basically forming an A chord when you do this. That riff, you're bending that note into the third of A, right? So we got... And then I just come up. And then instead of bending a whole step, I bend a half step, which just gets us back into that A minor pentatonic sound. Right? And then I bend up that note right there. And you're gold, right? So those are just some of the ways you can apply or start to think about. Remember, A, thinking about the octaves. B, try to learn, if you can, right, 3 different versions of the chords. So we have an A here, A here, A here. And then remember where those chords are and apply that over the top of a minor pentatonic, box, right? We got... right in there. Same thing with position 2. Right? So and then you're right back to the major home bass.